ladies, I'm here on the show. I'm here to talk about Monday Night Raw tonight, the March 16 episode here. On the road to WrestleMania continues, a jam-packed show including the returns of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. The return of Roman Reigns again. But him and Brock Lesnar were on the show tonight, so let's go over what went down tonight. AJ Lee also defended her Women's Intercontinental Championship for the first time since winning at Chamber, actually on a Monday Night Raw. Let's go over what was announced in advance on the card. Roman Reigns' appearance, Brock Lesnar, also with an appearance. Women's Intercontinental title match, Bayley and AJ Lee and Bayley, Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez, OG Original Gangster, El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, Maxine Dupree versus Natty. Oh, sorry, I heard Natty and I fell asleep right there. But yeah, really the main talking points coming out tonight. We're getting Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and it was set up in a absolutely beautiful way tonight. Absolute beautiful way they set up. You think people think it's Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar. I'm kind of like, oh, come on. But then Oba Femi comes out. They swerved us. Oba Femi lays out Brock Lesnar. Oba Femi answered the challenge. Seth Rollins had a threat to the Vision. Then Brock Lesnar appears, and then Oba Femi answers the challenge. Very good opening segment. A great, beautiful way to announce this. Both Intercontinental Championships on the line. Really enjoyed I think it was Penta Dragon Lee. I thought that was very good. Penta Dragon Lee, that was great. Dragon Lee can go in the ring. We saw that against Gunther. He can go in the ring. I think Punk and Roman Reigns had another segment tonight, and kind of disappointed. I thought it was actually pretty good Raw, from top to bottom. There was a few things, and I thought it was probably the weakest out of the Punk and Roman stuff, but even if it's true, it's still good. It can't be platinum every single time. But because you're old was kind of lame. The man spoke about your wife, and that wasn't enough to lay hands on him, but you let him call you old. Oh, I think they're just trying to add layers and avoid rehashing old material from the previous promos, especially when the first was so godly. Creatives should start putting together a cinematic angle, because I feel like you can just squeeze all the juice out of so many promos. You gotta at least have, like, a cinematic angle, like where Cody and The Rock did that angle outside where The Rock beats the shit out of Cody. Do something like that, because there's only so much you can do in promos. The first two were good, but I just don't know what more you can do besides that. But probably the weakest of the three segments, I thought. But like I said, I feel like I would do something else, like a cinematic angle maybe, because you can only squeeze with like there's still a few weeks left. There's only so much you can do with promos. But yeah, that kind of disappointed. Both Intercontinental Championships were on the line. Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar was good. Raw was very good tonight. Dragon Lee's incredible. That's what the Intercontinental Championship should be about. Just an absolute banger with Penta. A banger. I feel like getting the belt off Dominic was for the best. But Dragon Lee's was really, really good in the ring. He had a slow start to the main roster, but I feel like teaming with AJ Styles helped him. And he's put on some really banger matches. But the Brock Lesnar Oba Femi thing, now that is what we call WrestleMania season. That was incredible. But those are really the main talking points I wanted to get to start off here. So let's get into the main card. So Seth Rollins at the start, he has a threat to the Vision. Brock Lesnar appears, and then Oba Femi answers his challenge. So Seth Rollins hit the ring accompanied by the army of masked and hooded associates. The former world champion grabbed the mic and immediately threatened the Vision, telling them, "I created the Vision, and I will kill the Vision." Paul Heyman arrived on the scene, disheveled and unshaved, his right eye bloodshot, and his face bruised and scraped. Letting him enter Circle was the worst decision I ever made, Rollins said, before vowing to cut the wise man out, like the cancer you are. Heyman repeated the F-A-F-O, fucking damn find out catchphrase, but on the last one uttered F5. And Brock Lesnar appears. He stalks the ring before obliterating Rollins' cronies on the outside one by one. He gets in the ring. The ring then darkens. Oba Femi struts to the ring. Oba struts his way to the ring. He proceeds to deliver a massive power bomb that flattened the future Hall of Famer. A foot on the chest and a point. He points to the sign. And WrestleMania looks like the plans are clear. Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. So teasing Rollins and Lesnar was a great way to kick off the segment. It made sense given the revenge-minded Heyman that would call upon Brock Lesnar to do something for him with one power bomb. Man, Femi's a bigger star than he was before. The ruler was fantastic. Even made Lesnar look up until to put his foot on his chest. A sign of approval from the Beast after a perfectly executed segment. I'm thrilled at the prospect of Femi and Lesnar after that, because there's nothing involved those two that WWE could have done to make it a more anticipated match. Like, one of these two, because you don't really have anything else for Oba Femi, you don't have anything else for Brock Lesnar, really. I thought it was a good way to get some WrestleMania hype. Yeah, great segment starts the show. Then we have the original gangster, the OG, El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. The Americano defeated the OG. I don't really care about it, man. It was considerable disappointment given the talent involved. The two had good enough chemistry, but the match was overbooked and the crowd was too into the villain for it to have the effect the bookers hoped it would. WWE has to get Chad Gable out of this Americano gimmick ASAP. His return's been ice cold. The crowd prefers Ludwig's version better, and the fans in Mexico treat the latter like the biggest baby face there. Like Gable still shows as himself, let him be Chad Gable again. It's just kind of hard for me to care about this Americano stuff, and just hard for me to care for it. Next, we had the Women's Intercontinental title, AJ Lee and Bayley. This was pretty good. So, this one lived out a Monday Night Raw, lived out a dream on it. I think it's one of Bayley's idols. And this was AJ Lee ended up defeating Bayley to retain the championship. After the commercial break, Becky attacked AJ, sending her to the Raw stage, and then laying her out in the aisle ways as she sent a message, I guess, to continue this feud. I really don't want to see us at WrestleMania again. I mean, I kind of don't want to see it. Like, I'm sure it'll be a good match, but, like, I see AJ do something else, face somebody else. Like, Becky's already fought for the Intercontinental Championship so much. I guess we're going to continue this feud. But yeah, it was a strong match. For sure. There were times it was clear that, AJ's still discovering her in-ring legs after being away for, like a decade. But yeah, selling nicely. It was a good match. The Intercontinental Championship matches, that one was good, but this one was great. Penta and Dragon Lee. This was absolutely phenomenal. Two of the elite luchadors. Man, Dragon Lee has been the best match on WWE's flagship show in 2 of the last 3 weeks. He had that banger with Gunther, and he had one night with Penta. He's on a hot streak, and WWE should be focused on maybe pushing someone. Maybe they should be focused on pushing him, especially coming out of WrestleMania. Maybe to win a mid-card title, because in the crowd in San Antonio, no stranger, historic Lucha Libres was hot for this one. But then next, backstage, Paul Heyman told Logan Paul and Austin Theory that they need to regain leverage by regaining titles. To do that, they have to get back into contention for the Usos World Tag Team titles. Logan Paul and Austin Theory put me to sleep. Maxine Dupree and Natty. Speaking of put me to sleep, Natty swears against Maxine. I just don't care. Natty defeats Maxine via submission. This feud cannot feel any colder than it is now. What once felt like a good, solid, non-title program in the women's division became too much about repetition before Natty dominates and Dupree packing here. I just don't care. Don't care about Natty, and thought it could be good, but WWE's, this ain't the Natty from the Bloodsport. It's just off-brand. Instead of be, they ain't gonna let her use the full blood sport thing, so whatever. I just don't care. After the match, Michael Cole attempted to conduct a live interview with Randy, but the Viper canceled it. He did refer to himself as a killer, though it reminded the voice of WWE that there is, in fact, more than one royal family in professional wrestling. And elsewhere backstage, Danhausen had cursed Grayson Waller following a vignette also involving Kofi, Kingston, Javon Evans, and Dragon Lee. Yeah, this Maxine Natty feud is cursed. Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez. Stephanie Vaquer gets the win. We'll get to the end here. So, back from the break, Raquel dominated the action. Stephanie fought her way back to the bout using the Devil's Kiss. Morgan made her presence felt. Io arrived, fending the heel off at ringside. OUB pounced over the announce table by Raquel. Back in the ring, Stephanie used the fruit roll-up for the win. They do have strong in-ring chemistry. They haven't had a bad match. But how many times do we have seen them square off on TV? Because it feels like they've wrestled like 5 times already. But Io's appearance suggests she'll be involved with Raquel in some way at WrestleMania. With the wealth of women's matches hinted at or teased, it is difficult to imagine how WWE will fit them all onto the card. But there are far worse options than booking one of the best wrestlers against Raquel, who's consistently been strong in recent months. Obviously, Stephanie winning was the right call, but this feud needs a little more creativity to get it through the next 4 weeks. Like, I think it'd be a good match at WrestleMania, but you need to get more heat on it. And then Roman and Punk in the main event, face to face. For all of the insults, it was the OTC calling the world champion old that earned him a right hand to the face, and Adam Pearce and other WWE producers rushed the ring to pull the best in the world away, leaving Reigns to chirp into the cameras as showing off the air. Reigns hurled insults at Punk, including not being a European tour, not being the big money baller he think he is. He stopped the tribal chief from leaving, telling him he would leave. He would tell Reigns where he could leave, then vow to beat him at WrestleMania. So, much like Punk playing to Reigns' weaknesses by mentioning his father 2 weeks ago, he played his own mind games, saying Punk is basically an aging warrior in the young man's game. You know, obviously works, draws first physicality, so maybe they'll do something else next time they're both in the ring. But it felt less structured than the others with a whole lot of insults. One felt like it was specifically laid out just for them to give Reigns the upper hand. Considering the last one I thought was a concise Punk win. Punk mentioned Samoa Joe, claiming that calling Reigns by his first name would be an insult to his former Ring of Honor teammate. Now, there was some other stuff backstage. Bayley and Lyra were confronted by the Kabuki Warriors and teased paying for tag titles. In the background, Austin Theory could be seen talking to Maxine Dupree. Could the division be in hunt for a women's division competitor? Does Maxine really excite anybody for the Vision? Who cares? And then LA Knight checked in with Usos, informed them that they have a good thing going on, but the Bloodline's back, they can't be on the same page. As for Raw tonight, pretty really good, man. Thought the MVP probably the show was over Femi. The main event segment did not hit quite like the others before it did, but it did advance the story. Quality show here, like Penta and Dragon Lee was fantastic. The women's division was prominently featured. AJ and Bayley was good. Stephanie and Raquel had a solid match, but yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10, or 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the show, other than the Maxine Natty. It was honestly really good show tonight for me. So, yeah, that's all to say. Leave a like, comment, share for more. Peace.